Oh my God. I hope you guys can see me correctly or see me well. I got I don't have my overhead light on. I actually accidentally went live on the small channel. So I had to wrap that one up and go live on this channel. But man, can you guys believe these freaking celebrities? What the hell is going on? What was in the water this weekend? What were they drinking in Hollywood this weekend? With all of these crazies coming out with all of this nonsense, just saying the most outlandish statements. And it's all just kind of back to back to back to back. We got everyone from Talib Kweli to Al Sharpton to LeBron James. Just too much. So I'm just going to go through them one by one because it's just freaking stupid. And they can't help but put their ignorance on full display for the entire world to see and just show us exactly how uninformed they are. So Talib Kweli at a concert decided that he was going to take shots at Trump and at conservatives, Republicans, people who want the wall built by comparing the wall to the wall in Berlin. He said that the wall, trying to build a wall here is like the Nazis building a wall in Berlin. I'm going to repeat that. Talib Kweli compared the wall that we want to build on our southern border to the Nazis building a wall in Berlin. The man needs a history lesson because the wall was not built in Berlin by Nazis. In fact, the wall wasn't built in Berlin until 20 years after the Nazis were defeated. But this dude so confidently and boldly goes out there to take shots at the president and talk about how we don't need a wall. And he wants to it's one thing if you disagree with the wall being built, cool, fine. But if you're going to make a comparison to the Nazis, you need to do an accurate comparison. And there is no accurate comparison. But to say that the wall is similar to the Nazis building the Berlin Wall, it's just like, can you get more retarded than that? It makes literally no sense at all. And then also the reason that the wall was built in Berlin had nothing to do with why we're building a wall. It had to do with communism and them separating communism from fascism. And the wall was brought down in 1989. So that was the craziest statement, but he used that to go after some person on Twitter and lost his mind. And I love that people just blew him up in the comments like, hey, man, you know you probably need a history lesson again because you're out there talking about the Berlin Wall, comparing it to the wall on our southern border and saying that the Nazis built the wall in Berlin. You can't make this stuff up, guys. Truth is stranger than fiction, like I said. In fact, I wonder if I can share my screen because I would like to pull that up on Twitter. I guess I can't do it here because I didn't do the Google Hangouts thing. But one of these days, I'm going to get like the other YouTubers and be able to share my screen so we can look at this kind of stuff together. And then you got Al Sharpton, okay? Everybody's favorite black celebrity. You know, the spokesperson for all black people in America, Al Sharpton, the one who speaks on everyone's behalf. Al Sharptongue, the tax evading, lying, race baiting, poverty pimp, Al Sharpton, that guy, he decided that he wants to compare. Well, he didn't compare. He's shaming Travis Scott. For those of you who don't know Travis Scott, he's a rapper. He's married or dating or has a baby by one of the Jenners. I don't know. Kardashians. He's part of that Kardashian family now. Anyway, backtrack a little bit. So the NFL is at the center of pretty much everything else I'm going to talk about. The NFL, because of its controversy, you know, with Kaepernick and the kneeling and yada, 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 they are having celebrities, of course, boycott them and not want to perform at the Super Bowl. So Maroon 5 was the only confirmed artist to perform at the Super Bowl. Well, they recruited Travis Scott to perform at the Super Bowl, and Travis Scott accepted. You know, why wouldn't he? He accepted to go perform the Super Bowl. And he's being shamed by Black Twitter and all of his friends in Hollywood, talking about how he's trading out, selling out to his race and all of that. And Al Sharpton decided to say that he's sitting at the back of the bus or something just unbelievably ignorant. Al Sharpton said Travis Scott not performing at the Super Bowl is like him sitting in the back of the bus. I'm going to pull up the tweet because I don't want to butcher it. I want to read it verbatim so you guys can know exactly how ridiculous this is. Okay. Al Sharpton, blast Travis Scott, reported Super Bowl gig. You can't fight Jim Crow and then sit in the back of the bus. Why the hell are we talking about Jim Crow, Al Sharpton? Why are we talking about Jim Crow? And why can't Travis Scott perform at the Super Bowl? Because you have a beef with the NFL. Last time I checked, it's every musician's dream to perform at the Super Bowl. You're talking about Whitney Houston has performed there, Michael Jackson, Prince, too many celebrities, like iconic celebrities or musicians to name. So Travis Scott made a business decision deciding to perform at the Super Bowl, but he's not supposed to because Al Sharpton, the high priest in the black community, said, you can't perform at the Super Bowl because, you know, that's like you can't fight Jim Crow and then go sit in the back of the bus, because apparently performing at the Super Bowl is like sitting in the back of the bus, you know, getting paid millions of dollars to perform on a global stage in the most watched televised event of the year is equivalent to Jim Crow. That's a disgusting comparison, but that's Al Sharpton. This is the guy that has a cancerous mouthpiece. Everything he says is cancerous. It causes division. It causes hatred. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't make any damn sense. So Al Sharpton went full retard this weekend. Now, Travis Scott, I applaud Travis Scott for deciding to perform the Super Bowl because it's about his career. Doesn't he want to have that stamped on his resume as an artist, a hip hop artist at that, to be able to perform with Maroon 5 at the Super Bowl, you know? And then also they're trying to rake him over the coals for some tweets or some interviews he did back in 2014 about the Michael Brown shooting in Ferguson, where he said, you know, Michael Brown, he said exactly, Michael, I don't think he deserved to die, obviously, but I mean, at the same time, he got consequences for his actions. I mean, he's being raked over the coals for that. They're calling him a coon, a sellout. You guys know, the rhetoric that's used whenever a black person decides, I'm going to use my own brain to decide how I'm going to view the world. Anytime you break and pierce through that echo chamber and that groupthink, this is how you're treated. And it pisses me off every single time. So Travis Scott said this back in 2014, and it's not even controversial what he said. The only problem with him saying it is his skin was black at the time. You know, of course, if he were white and said it, then he's racist. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. No matter who you are, you're not allowed to criticize a black person, because if you're black and you criticize a black person, you're a sellout. If you're white and you criticize a black person, you're racist. That's how the left controls thoughts and language. And that's how they want to control the narrative is white, you can't criticize. Black, if you do, you're a sellout. You don't belong in the community. You're cast out. But man, what did he say that's so controversial? I mean, we all know about the Michael Brown case. His hands were never up. And even if his hands were up, you're still allowed to have an opinion about the case. And saying, you know, there's consequences to your action. There are consequences to your actions. Is that not true? Did Travis Scott tell a lie in 2014 when he said that? Nonetheless, that's how the left is operating. They'll dig up your oldest tweets and they'll hold it against you. So that's just crazy. And now for the grand finale of ignorant, stupid, ridiculous, nonsensical black voices to come out and say something just retarded this past weekend, LeBron James. LeBron James said that the NFL owners have slave owner mentalities. Where do you even begin? Where do I begin to pick this apart? I don't even know where to start with this, okay? First and foremost, how dare LeBron James, and David Harris Jr. did a great job covering this, but I'm going to echo some things that he said, okay? How dare you compare playing in the NFL to being a freaking slave? What on earth is this nonsense? Like, who is his puppet master? Like, he needs someone that filters what he says before it comes out of his mouth. Every time LeBron James opens his mouth, something stupid flies out of it right away. Something is just, I don't even know what to say about it, guys. He said that the NFL owners are similar to slave masters. They have a slave master's mentality. And how he explained it was, he said, if you don't do what I told you to do, you're going to be out of here. I don't think that happened back in slavery. I'm pretty sure if you didn't do what you were told in slave times and you were a slave, you were killed, you were beaten, you were whipped, you were denied food, you were separated from your wife and kids. Like, you got ostracized, you got treated terribly for that, for not doing your job. Also, it wasn't an option. I mean, I'm not going to go there, but this is completely different. These NFL players are multi-millionaires. They work for what, 4 months out of the year? And then they have the entire off season to act stupid and do crazy things like smoke weed and go on high-speed chases and become felons. Like, hey, you're a millionaire. How fast can you become a felon and ruin it all? You know, not only are they some of the most privileged Americans that you will ever meet or ever see, they take it for granted. So you got black people in America that are some of the most wealthiest Americans. Some of the most wealthiest black people on planet Earth live in the United States of America. So this is the least racist country on earth. So I'm tired of these race baiters talking about how racist America is and how oppressive America is and how America is just oppressing black people. Oh my God, all these millionaire oppressed black people. Apparently, I just got done watching the Saints and Steelers game, and it looked like those slaves were happy, you know, on the Saints sideline because they won. I don't know any slaves that were happy celebrating, pouring Gatorade on their coach because they're going to the playoffs and they're going to earn money for being in the playoffs. So comparing the NFL players to slavery is just ridiculous. It's a voluntary thing. The players choose to go into it. They get paid millions. The owners work just like any other business. The NFL operates just like every other business. If you don't do what you're told, you get fired. Again, these players are so freaking entitled. Where else? What other job can you have? And this was the perfect segue into why LeBron said this stupid statement and why Sharpton made his dumb statement. Colin Kaepernick. Why the hell are we still talking about Colin Kaepernick? I thought we buried this years ago. At least we should have buried this years ago. Colin Kaepernick sucked, okay? He had 2 good years under Jim Harbaugh, under one coach. As soon as Jim Harbaugh left the 49ers, Kaepernick fell off a cliff. And in order to stay relevant, he took a knee and started talking about, you know, I'm not going to stand for a flag that oppresses black people. And then he wore pig socks, portraying police officers as pigs after the Michael Brown shooting. That is divisive as hell. And then he talked about the flag being so terrible and negative. Well, that's going to affect the NFL's ratings. So if you don't do what you're told, which they wanted him to stand for the flag, they want the athletes, the NFL players to stand for the flag, you're going to get fired. I mean, plain and simple. I can't go to my job and talk about, you know, my political beliefs or religious beliefs on the clock or even on the premises because it's a privately owned company. So it's ridiculous that they want to try to link everything to race. You know what? I'm willing to bet you could replace every single NFL athlete right now with someone that's 3 to 5 years younger that's just as talented because they come a dime a dozen, except for maybe like a generational quarterback or something like that. The majority of these players are 100% replaceable. The NFL stands for not for long. You'll be forgotten overnight. So Kaepernick had his shot in the NFL. He walked away from the NFL, by the way. He wasn't kicked out of the NFL. So why is everybody feeling so sorry for him? He's on Nike's payroll. He's making more money through Nike than he was making as a quarterback. He's got all these endorsements. Everyone wants to line his pockets now, but somehow he's still some oppressed victim. He's just the world's biggest social justice warrior. It's so easy. If you guys ever get in a debate with someone over Kaepernick, it is so easy to crush that argument. You can crush their debates, okay? If they want to say he's not in the NFL because they're conspiring against him, he's been blackballed out of the NFL because of his controversy. Not true. Actually, the same thing kind of happened to Tim Tebow. You know, Tim Tebow took a knee, but he did it differently. He was praying. Tim Tebow also had he was like a media circus. Tim Tebow used to play for the Broncos. That's my team, so I got to watch it up close and personal. Tim Tebow was a player's player. Everybody loved him. The crowd loved him, but there was a media circus surrounding him. He was just polarizing. And because he was so polarizing, he became a distraction. Not necessarily through any fault of his own, but he became a distraction. And he was talented, but he wasn't that talented at his position. So due to both of those key factors, Tim Tebow found himself without a job. after being traded to the Jets, and then I think he went to another team and tried out, and he didn't make the cut. So Tim Tebow out of the NFL, no controversy there. It just didn't work out. And it wasn't really through Tim Tebow's fault. He didn't do anything to detract from the NFL, whereas Kaepernick, completely different. Everything Kaepernick did was his doing. This was his decision to take a knee. It was his decision to walk away from the contract that he was getting paid when he was with the 49ers. And it was his decision to sue the NFL and smear the NFL on national TV, on Twitter. Every interview he did, he was attacking the NFL. So how does anybody feel sorry for Kaepernick over decisions that he made? And then to try to call it racism. Okay, so I covered the Tim Tebow thing. Now let's talk about how, Kaepernick's being oppressed because of racism. First of all, Kaepernick's not even black. He's half black. He was raised by a white family. And if you're going to say that NFL is racist, okay, how do you explain Michael Vick coming back into the league? I talked about this last night in my live stream. Okay, Michael Vick killed dogs. Okay, Michael Vick wasn't an off or on field distraction before he got busted with his dog fighting ring. So Michael Vick gets busted. Okay, he's out of the league. He goes to prison. He serves a prison sentence. He comes out, cuts his braids, cleans up his image, humbles himself, goes out there as an advocate for abuse against dogs, or preventing abuse against dogs, and then finds himself a job going back into the NFL, and he played at a high level. Difference between Kaepernick and Vick. Michael Vick was talented, very talented, over an extended period of time. Also, Michael Vick, humble, never had a problem before that dogfighting incident, never caused a problem with his teammates, never knelt for the flag, never tried to divide his team or divide the country over something that's so controversial like the hands up, don't shoot thing. So completely different. How did Michael Vick get a second shot in the NFL if all the NFL owners are white and slave owners and racist? I mean, again, it's just like with him calling Trump racist. How is it that people that are being called racist are literally the worst racists of all time? Donald Trump is the worst racist I've ever seen in my entire life. If the definition of racism is Donald Trump, then he's the worst racist ever. Ever. These NFL owners, worst racist ever, right? If it was about, we don't want any black people playing on our team, okay, there's plenty of white guys that can play football. Why wouldn't they just do that, okay? Instead, what are they doing? Making black men millionaires. And LeBron James, with his idiotic statement and his hypocritical stupidity, like NFL or NBA owners are white too, it's dumb, man. It's dumb. And the fact that it's all happening in one weekend, like what the hell is going on, from Talib Kweli to Al Sharpton to freaking LeBron James. And I mean, I could really talk about white celebrities too. I don't want to just target the black celebrities, but there's just too much of it concentrated in one weekend. Like, damn, what are you guys thinking? But Alyssa Milano with her fund the wall nonsense, she's talking about, oh yeah, sure, fund the wall when that money could go towards our veterans. It's like, how out of touch is this lady? How out of touch are these celebrities, guys? It's so funny. Like, what is she talking about? Is she not aware that not building a wall directly affects our veterans? That affects our veterans more than building the wall. What are you talking about? Don't you think veterans who fought for the sovereignty of this country would want a wall to protect the sovereignty of the country they fought for? The veterans were responding to her on Twitter like, yeah, I'm a veteran. I want the wall built. So stop trying to use me as a political pawn, especially when, they always want to attack. Those on the left want to attack conservatives for using veterans as political pawns. Like, why are we giving money to illegals when we could be giving it to veterans? So she tried to use the same tactic, but it backfired on her because building a wall actually helps veterans. It helps everyone in the country, not just veterans, you idiot. I don't know, guys. I had to get that rant out there. It's so stupid. You can't make this stuff up. These celebrities are idiotic. It's like, just shut up and dribble, shut up and rap, shut up and race pimp, Al Sharpton. That's what you're good at. And get off of Travis Scott, because he made the best decision for his career. And I'm so happy that he wasn't going to be bullied or shamed into submission, because that's how it works in the black community. It's like, Either you toe the line and you get on board with our agenda, or you will be cast out, and we will publicly lynch you. We will lynch you on social media. We will take down your platform because we have a crabs in a bucket mentality. It's freaking sad, man. It drives me crazy, but it is what it is. I'll continue taking arrows. I don't care. I'm going to continue being an independent thinker, thinking for myself, and I won't back down. Yeah, it's kind of is what it is. Let me give you guys some shout outs here. What's up, Joey? Joey, the most consistent Nificent live stream watcher. Dina, same thing. Joey, I'm going to make you a moderator on this channel too. You can't fix stupid, says Beowulf. You're damn right about that. Maybe we should take away their microphone. See, I know that sounds controversial because it sounds like I want to silence the freedom of speech of celebrities. But man, someone like LeBron James, when he talks, it's so damaging because you have kids that look up to LeBron James. They think so highly of him. And LeBron James, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of LeBron James when he has a basketball in his hand. I am not a fan of LeBron James when he has a microphone and he's talking politics or talking social issues. He's the most detached guy maybe ever. He's been a millionaire since the age of 18. What struggle does he know? What has he been through? What has he lived through? Last I checked, Akron, Ohio is not the hood. It's not like he grew up in the ghetto and poverty. I mean, the dude I think he's probably a billionaire at this point. What in the hell could he possibly, he can't relate to me. He can't relate to you guys. But he's out there talking all this nonsense and just virtue signaling. There's no way he believes what he's saying. There's no way he believes that the NFL owners have a slave owner's mentality. How stupid can you be? And to compare that to freaking slavery, like people who died in slavery, Al Sharpton, talking about Travis Scott and the freaking Jim Crow. Why the hell are we still talking about slavery and Jim Crow? What the hell? What slavery and Jim Crow are we talking? Why are we talking about that? In 2018, we're still talking about slavery and Jim Crow, and we're calling everything under the sun racist and cultural appropriation and food appropriation. This is the mental enslavement of the left. This is the mental illness of the left. It is a mental illness. It is a mental freaking illness. So I'm going to wrap this up because I should not be this worked up on Sunday night, guys. But damn, what can you do? Because it makes him money. Yeah, I guess so. I guess talking out of your ass gives you a great paycheck nowadays. It's like what crazy nonsense can you spew next? And it's a bad look for the Black community when we are broadcasting out to the world that we are a monolith. We will get on TV. We will take to social media to shame other Black people because they don't think the way that Black people are supposed to think, apparently. Apparently, your skin color means you have to think, walk, act, talk, and vote a certain way. And if you don't, I'm going to let the entire world know that we don't accept you anymore. You can't come to the cookout anymore. It's a shame. Trying to sacrifice, trying to better their lives, trying to sacrifice them at the altar of identity politics. It's so stupid, man. It's stupid, it's pathetic, and it's sad. And it's really, the liberals are just laughing at it. They're laughing at it because it's no different than back in the day. It's no different, honestly, than slaves tattletelling on runaway slaves. It's pretty much what it is. Like, that liberal plantation is freaking real. And it's sad. So I just had to get that off my chest. I know you guys have seen it. I've just been looking on Twitter and people are starting to cover the LeBron James nonsense because how does that even sound saying that out loud? Can you say that out loud and hold a straight face? Like if you talk about it with your coworkers tomorrow or something, can you really go and say with a straight face, yeah, LeBron James compared NFL owners to slave owners? Why? Because Black people play football? Is that why? What if there were more white? There's white people in NFL too. So There's Hispanics in the NFL. There might be Asians. I don't know. But you get my point. It's just crazy, and he just wants to hear himself talk. And it's sad because LeBron James, of all the people that I mentioned, probably has the most influence. And he's now painted the NFL in a more negative light than it already was before. It's bad enough the person he's defending doesn't deserve defense at all. Colin Kaepernick, there is no sympathy for that guy. He sucks. Talking about we're going to boycott the NFL until Kaepernick has a job again. Newsflash, he's not ever coming back to the NFL. He's never coming back to the NFL. He wasn't as good as there's no way if he were in the NFL right now, he wouldn't even be the 20th best quarterback. He would be on someone's practice squad right now. Guaranteed. I mean, there might be some teams he could maybe start for, but he's too controversial. So the NFL has a business decision to make. It's like, yeah, Kaepernick's super talented. He has natural skills. Nobody's denying Kaepernick's talent, but he sucked his last couple years. And, oh, by the way, what jersey is he going to be able to put on in the NFL without that franchise's profits tanking? No fans are going to show up. The ratings will suck. It's going to have a ripple effect across the entire league. It's bad enough their ratings were already on the decline before Kaepernick. People don't know that. Their ratings were declining before the Kaepernick thing, but then they really started to tank. With our country as divided as it is now, I remember a time when football, NFL, was a time where we all came together. It was like escapism. It still is escapism for me. I kind of eased back into it. I spent the first half of the season not watching any games just because, Broncos suck for one this year. But then for two, it's just like they've injected politics. They've messed with it too much. The left has they've contaminated everything. They've infected it all with their liberal agenda. Like, why are we talking about anything political when it's about football? People go to football games to escape. And I've always seen football as a place of unity. People from all walks of life high-fiving each other when their team scores. They're all wearing the same jersey. You're all the same color at that point. So Kaepernick going in there just interjected unnecessary division, man. The country's already divided enough. So even if Kaepernick were super, super talented, let's say Kaepernick were Aaron Rodgers' talent. Let's say he had Aaron Rodgers' talent right now. He still wouldn't make it in the NFL because he took a stand or he took a knee against the flag and he divided the country and he made an assault on police officers, like with the pig socks. That was uncalled for, unnecessary. You made your bed, now sleep, dude. That's all I got to say about it. So anyways, guys, I'm going to sign off. I see I got 78 people watching. If you guys wouldn't mind, just give me a thumbs up. And shout out to everybody that was with that live stream last night. I did on the smaller channel that I'm still trying to get to grow. I need you guys to go sub over there. Mike Nificent Uncut. Please do that. And yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.